New York Attorney General Letitia James recently subpoenaed former President Donald Trump and his two eldest children, demanding their testimony in connection with an ongoing civil investigation into the family's business practices. According to the filing, the subpoenas for Trump, his son, Donald Trump Jr., and his daughter, Ivanka Trump, stem from an investigation into the valuation of properties owned or controlled by Trump and his company, the Trump Organization. The Attorney General's attempt to get testimony from the former president was reported in December, but the court filing made public on Monday was the first disclosure that investigators were also seeking information from Ivanka Trump and Donald Trump Jr. The Trumps are expected to file court papers seeking to quash the subpoenas. And to help us have this conversation, we have a political analyst. He joins us from the U.S., Habib Salahu. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
I wish you the same. The New York Attorney General has been investigating the Trump Organization since 2019, while Trump was still in office. What does this new subpoenas tell us about where they are in this investigation?
So the subpoenas sent out for Ivanka and Don Jr. Is basically in line with the probe into financial fraud with the Trump Organization. And they just basically want them to come testify under oath and get as much information that they need to conclude that investigation.
But do you think that this might signal that the Attorney General is probably at the end or is coming to the end of this investigation?
It's dicey, and it appears to be close, and that's why Trump is concerned, because besides this being a civil probe, there's also a criminal investigation going on in Manhattan, and so the Attorney General's office also has personnel involved in that investigation, and that's why the Trump family is fighting this subpoena with everything they can, because whatever they get from the deposition can be used against them in their criminal investigation.
And that criminal investigation you talked about is the one being handled by the DA's office. And there is a new DA
Yes.
who has now taken over that case. But the New York Attorney General has now joined that criminal investigation. What does this all mean for the former president? And do you think that in the end there is a criminal case here, especially in the one handled by the DA's office?
Absolutely. And you know, Letitia always would follow through to the end. We saw what she did with the former New York State governor. So I can understand the concern that the Trump family is having, because whatever they say, you know, during the civil probe will definitely be used against them. And you know, the state has a strong case against the Trump Organization. So I can understand why they're really worried and concerned. I do not fear that there may be a conviction, but you know, until you get one, everybody's innocent. But with the way the AG is pursuing this, I feel they have enough to pin down the former president and his kids.
And that's what, you know, that's where a lot of people are sort of confused. Are these charges really about getting a conviction and saying, oh, we're sending the former president to jail? Or is this really about ensuring that he has a criminal record and doesn't get to run in the next election? What do you think, how do you think that this is going to play out?
It's all interwoven, and you know, when it comes to politics, you cannot rule anything out. The president has alleged that this is a political move. It may appear to be so, but not necessarily so, because the concern is, as a crime being committed, if a crime has been committed, the state has the right to pursue prosecution up until they get conviction or otherwise. So if you have not put yourself in a position where you have to be tried, you absolutely cannot cry foul now. So if the president and his organization has a case, they would have to answer to it. If that leads to some sort of criminal prosecution, which then, you know, makes the president ineligible for office the next term, so be it.
He does have a lot of cases against him, though. I think that there are about 3 of them. The civil case by the New York Attorney General and the other criminal case we mentioned with the DA's office. And then there's also another one in Georgia that has to do with the election in 2020. But we also know that there is an inquiry ongoing right now in Congress about the January the 6th insurrection, which coincidentally will be a year tomorrow. There are new findings in that insurrection, or in that inquiry, where it was said that Ivanka did actually call him or send him a text message. I'm not sure now about calling off that insurrection. When you put all of this together, how do you think that it pans out for the former president?
So the thing is about time, and it's also about the system, the process. If all these cases go on before the next term, and there's no conclusion, nothing can stop the president, the former president, from running again. However, if the case in Georgia where he was asking for more votes, the text message from Sean Hannity and all those things suggesting that he knew about the January 6th insurrection, as long as there is a conclusion to those cases, the president may be debarred from running. We know that he's seriously ambitious to return. For now, I do not see anything holding him back except we get conviction from these cases. And
let's also bear in mind that a lot of people have been indicted because of the practices or the dealings with the former president. But how do you think that this will also pan out for Trump, the former President Trump's his former associates, people like his former lawyer Michael Cohen?
So we saw throughout his presidency how he appeared to not be concerned about what happens to people that he once used. These indictments have personally affected all these people in their own personal ways. As long as there's no indictment against President Trump, former President Trump, I don't see how he would be concerned about these people and their lives after for those who have had prison terms and the rest of them. So the most important thing is to, and I'm trying to be as fair as possible, is to see to the end of these cases, and if there is an indictment and prosecution conviction, then that would be the only thing that can stop him. For now, whether even if his kids go down, as long as there's nothing against him, I don't see former President Trump backing down.
And he's moved to quash the case by New York Attorney General. We'll see how that plays out. Thank you so much for your time, political affairs analyst Habib Salau.
Thank you for having me.